Here is how I managed to get through the mines and eventually get 12 rubies in one of my best runs. Now for preparation, you just need a few things. The first thing you'll need is a weapon. You don't need anything with major high damage output, but something that's available around the combat level 2 like the 𝓗𝓸𝓬𝓲𝓪 bat or even the flaming bat are really good options. You're not going to do too much combat, but you will need to prevent things from attacking you, so you'll need a weapon for that reason. You will also need a pickaxe, and a copper one at least is best. If you can get an iron pickaxe, that's even better, or even a jackhammer via Franklin is even better than that. It is optional to bring the jackhammer, however, because we are just going for rubies, you only really need the copper or iron pickaxe. Now when I go into the mines, I usually bring two kinds of food with me. One will replenish my health, whereas the other one will extend my health bar. When it comes to replenishing your health, cooked meats are a really great option. You can even combine mangrove sticks with meat on a cooking station to make meat on a stick. This is my preferable food item to bring into the mines to replenish my health. When it comes to extending my health, I like to use cooked croc meat because I am going to use a 𝓗𝓸𝓬𝓲𝓪𝓵𝓭𝓮 bat throughout the mine, so kind of goes hand in hand to kill as many crocs as I can for this kind of cooked meat. A really cool bonus tip is to bring a fireplace with you, whether you are intending to bring raw meat with you or you're going to find some raw meat within the mines. It's a really good idea to bring a fireplace for that reason. Now I also suggest making yellow wattle brew. You'll need 10 to place into a keg, and you can get a keg unlocked at level 2 of logging. Not only will consuming a yellow wattle brew extend your energy bar, but you'll also get additional pickaxe damage if you do find yourself using your pickaxe a lot within the mines. Now it's not really required, but if this is your first run or one of your first runs, you will need some sort of light source. A really good easy one to bring with you is by crafting mangrove sticks on the crafting bench to make torches. Candle hats are really useful. Buying a torch from John's shop is also a really good idea. Or if you found yourself a mining hat, that can do the job as well. Now these are some optional ideas to bring with you, especially if you've expanded your backpack, you can bring these along with you. This includes the boogie board, which is commonly found within the treasure rooms. It can actually help you swim across the water quickly, which is really helpful if you find yourself outrunning a lot of enemies and you tend to use the water and find yourself dying that way. Also, in saying that, you might want to bring some keys with you. Always bring a stack with you. You will need at least 2 per treasure room to access the treasure that's within there, and obviously you'll find multiple within there, so might as well bring some keys with you if you have some. And of course, any additional weapons, pickaxes and food is more than welcome to bring along, depending on how long you plan to stay in the mines. So we pretty much have our inventory as prepared as we can. We always want to make sure that we're preparing the night before, and I'm glad that it's raining. I only have a few crops anyway with this gameplay, but I'm ensuring that I already have the mine pass with me and I'm going through. You can see my toolbar at the moment. This is essentially what I bring with me, including the boogie board and the keys and the torches. I won't be placing the torches, I will be carrying them. And oh yeah, this treasure room looked like it was like already eaten by the mine shaft, which is like my bad, but hey, easy treasure room without the need of using keys. Always check these. You can see there's a mining helmet in there, which is absolutely great. So I choose a random direction and I just follow that way. I essentially want to keep going and I never want to stop. I don't care what enemy is going to attack me or where I'm going. I do tend to use the mini map to know where I'm going. You'll sometimes see me walk into walls and whatnot, not knowing where I'm going because I want to know if the mini map will tell me where to go. It does actually. You can tell that here I really want to go over here. There's an open area past this wall, and this is what you want to keep the durability of the pickaxe for. So then you're able to walk through into a different area that would have been previously blocked off if you didn't use the durability. Now obviously I am leaving the bats and I'm also leaving the ore. It's up to you if you want to take them with you, but if you want to save the time because you will need your energy, I highly suggest you just keep running. Don't worry about what possibly could attack you. Most enemies will eventually calm down and not hit you anymore. The bats sometimes will continuously follow you, but just ignore them. You only really want to attack them if it's getting a bit too much or they are in the way of a ruby or something that you want to pick up, but you just want to keep going through all these open spaces and continuously check around for rubies. Now rubies are sometimes a bit hard to find. They look very similar to the copper stones that you see there, but there's usually only one stone, like a red stone that's poking out of the stone instead of the copper stone, which actually has a few more than just the one. So you'll see that we've got a ruby here. As you can see, there is one redstone poking out. Now I'm going to put some torches down so you can see what I'm doing. But I know there's enemies around, but I'm not here for the enemies. I'm here for the ruby. So I pick it up and I take it back. Now I can't go back the way that I came in. That's kind of a waste. I know I kind of did a loop, as you can see here. So I decided instead of walking the way back that I came from, I'll open up my map and then put down where the elevator is and then just walk a different way. Not only am I heading back to the mine shaft so I can put the ruby down to make sure it's not just lost in the mines, but I'm also going a different way, which means I have double the exposure to find rubies. Always have that in mind. If you're going one certain direction, you find a ruby, go a different way or try to go a different way with the return of the ruby. That way you're pretty much doing like 2 collections of rubies, not only the one that's in your hand, but also for a different one. Now I know I've already gone that direction, so I choose to go a different way. That's usually my rule of thumb. If I've gone north and I've come back with a ruby, I'm going to go a different way. So I decide to go through here. As you can see, I couldn't really fit. That's my fault. But again, I'm ignoring the bats. I know this one's going to be annoying because I'm trying to get into this little area, which I know is a bit blocked off. That's the only time you want to use the durability of your weapon. You can use it when there's a group of bats, which I highly suggest. So if you do have a few bats that have been following you for a while, they'll start to group up and it's a lot more easier to attack them that way. But try and avoid them at all costs if you can. Eventually they'll lose interest and they'll go somewhere else. As you can see, I used my boogie board across that water, mainly because swimming through the water takes a lot of effort and you're actually quite slow as well. So I highly suggest if you're going across the water and you have a boogie board, which is optional, but it does help to get you across the water quicker. Now, this is one thing that you can spend your time doing, knocking down these broken down utes. There are really cool resources that you get from them. And also it doesn't take too much time to knock them down either, especially with a copper or iron pickaxe. But I essentially just want to spend my time roaming around and knocking down any of the utes or even the trash cans you'll sometimes find poking out from the ground. You can knock those as well because they sometimes have good resources as well. Now you can see that there's a treasure room that's kind of blocked off there. Now I can get to it if I want to, but because there is a lot of walls that I'll have to get through, I know I'm going to find more treasure rooms in here, and you will. There's always a large amount of treasure rooms in here. It's not just one. That's why you should always keep a stack of keys. But if it is blocked off with a wall like that, I would highly suggest just leaving that. Unless you really desperately need to get in there, you're welcome to. As you can see, the enemies eventually start to turn on each other as well, so you don't have to spend the time fighting them, which is even better for you. It's more about if you stop and do something else, you've got less time to find rubies and you're spending more time on things that you can return to. As you can see, there's a ruby behind me here, and I do decide to take that back because I know that I've done a loop that is a bit different than I've done previously. Oh look, there's even 2 rubies. Now this gets a bit chaotic, as you can see, because of this Tasmanian devil that's in the way. I do decide to deal with him for that reason, only to distract him a little bit so then I can take this ruby. Now, I do try and open my mini-map so I can mark it, so I can try and use this as a marker to get back to, but I was having a bit of an issue with that, so I left the marker and then I continued off to the elevator as well as eating. I used the meat on the stick to replenish my health because it actually replenishes it quite a lot, but I wanted to make sure that I had enough energy so then I wasn't randomly dying. I did realize I needed to get through this wall, so another reason as to why you should keep your durability, and honestly, just deal with the animals when you need to, when they're in your way. Try not use your pickaxe too often. I think one thing I could have capitalized on here is using the yellow 𝓗𝓸𝓬𝓼. It'll actually use 2 hits instead of 3 to knock down these walls when I have them, so keep that in mind. Also, be sure to use the yellow 𝓗𝓗𝓬𝓼 before midnight. Reason being, at midnight when time gets late, your energy bar shrinks to a small amount. That doesn't mean you have to go to sleep or anything, it just means you have less energy to use, and no, your yellow 𝓗𝓗𝓬𝓼 does not extend this after it's late, so keep that in mind that you should try and have this going before it hits late. As you can see, now I have a way to get back to that ruby, which is a really good idea to be using the markers as often as you can. That way you know what you're returning to. A tip that you could use is by marking where the rubies are, and then when it gets late, just roam around, pick them up and take them back to the elevator. But I do like this a bit better because I know sometimes I'll find rubies so far away that I just don't want to walk all the way to them. So save yourself some time, mark them on the map, especially if you have multiple like I just had, and return them to the elevator shaft. As long as you've got them placed on that ground right there, you should be fine. Now this treasure room is one that I can actually access now by myself, so you obviously need 2 keys to get in here. Majority of things that I found in here you can take, like the flaming bat I actually want because I've got a spare one of that. Fertilizer and the paint is also really cool to bring back with you. Fertilizer is used to speed up the growth of your crops. And the paint will actually be used to paint your vehicle, so including your motorcycle and your tractor. However, you don't need a whole stack of all of them. You won't be needing too much, so if you choose not to have them, you can choose to do that to save yourself some space if you find yourself going into the treasure rooms quite a lot. And as you can see, now it is 5:30 and I have found myself another ruby. As you can see, that one ruby was sticking out and I didn't notice it for a little bit, so just be aware that that could be a thing. Always make sure that your energy isn't making you tired as you roam around, because you will become slower. This is my essentials when it comes to the bare minimums within the mines if I'm going for a ruby run, and obviously with upgraded weapons, tools, and even food, I'll have a better time. I'll actually show you a clip. I was teaching chat exactly these tips, and I was showing them that this is how I got 11, but on this run I actually got 12. I know it seemed like I just kept going, but that's what you want to do when you're in these mines. You want to push your limit. It can be scary, but as long as you have food and you're avoiding any of the... Is that a ruby? I don't know if I should say I told you so, but I kind of want to say I told you so. 12! I told you, I knew I would find 12. But yes, we are walking away with hopefully 12. We're gonna see, that's 2. That bike to be gone, that's 4. I'll show you guys. Whoa, this is exciting. I can't believe I made it to 12. Ow! That's 3, that's 6, that's 7. I'm just splitting them up because I'm gonna take the screenshot. So that's 7, yeah. That's 8. We're walking away with 12! Yay! I'm gonna be rich! Rich, I tell ya. Sick. Oh, no, don't throw it out that way because I feel like it might just like randomly go out. Want to hang out with our Dinkum streams? Why not follow me on Twitch? I'll leave it in the description. Happy hunting. I'll see you next time. Take care.